Events are picking back up, and how do you know which one is the right one for you? I'm going to share with you 7 ways you can determine if the event is right for you. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you some details about the event that I'm curating just for you. Hi, everybody. I'm Rashonda Pratt, known in the digital streets as the Rose Show Live, video visibility coach and producer, empowering you to be seen, heard, and paid by building a personal brand with video. I'm so glad that you are here. As I've said often, that being in the right rooms and the right spaces is so vital and so important to your life and business. And I believe, friend, that there is the right room just for you. So, what's the importance of being in the right room and space? And how did we come to have this discussion with you today? Well, I recently attended my friend Brooke Thomas's Live Out Loud experience in Southern California, and they're right. It never rains in Southern California. But it was a great experience. And it really had me thinking about you guys and about this thought of as the world is opening back up and people are getting ready to put events together and gather us back together. I don't want you to waste your time. And it certainly wasn't a time wasted at the Live Out Loud experience. If you ever get a chance, attend Brooke Thomas's event. You will not be disappointed. It's not only because of the community, the education that takes place there as it pertains to your faith and business, but also Brooke is a giver of gifts and she lavishes you with all these great gifts. So it's definitely a must attend. So, why is it important for you to be in the right rooms? Well, let's get into it. Number one, elevation. I believe that it elevates your mindset as it pertains to possibilities. The reason why you want to be in the right rooms and right spaces because it elevates your mindset. You start to think bigger because you're surrounded by people who are thinking and doing bigger. Also, it elevates your mindset when it comes to the possibilities for your own life and for your event. Every time I go to the Live Out Loud experience, I come back with not only knowledge, not only with community and all of those other things, but I also come back with this thought and this mindset of what's possible for me in my own business because stories give permission. And I was just in this space where I have permission to come back and do the same thing for my community. Number two, community. Community. I believe that your network equals your net worth. Let me say that again. Your network equals your net worth. So being in the right rooms expands your community. You are now getting another business bestie, a possible collaboration or partnership, or even a new client. Every time I go to the Live Out Loud experience, I'm always surrounded by new community members, but I also come back with new opportunities to do things bigger in business. So let's get into this. How do you find the right rooms so you can thrive when it comes to your life and business? I'm going to share with you 7 things that I consider and I do before I say yes, before I invest in the places that you've seen me go to or events or seminars. And I want you to think about these same things as well. So let's get into it. Number one, you must understand your life and business goals. This is so vitally important. You must understand your life and business goals because that will determine where you go. It's actually easy to determine if you should go to this event or if you shouldn't. So I'm going to put in here a shameless plug. We are putting together a content creation tour. We're kicking off in Houston, Texas. If you have said recently, man, I need to create more content, but I just don't know where to start, what to talk about, or even how to use my smartphone to do that. Well, if you go to visibilityispower.com, we show you how to do that. And if that speaks to you, if that resonates with you, then you need to attend that event. I'm using that as an example to say you have to understand what your life and business goals. And when you understand that, you read the event, you read the description, and then you're able to determine, do I need to be there because it's going to help me grow personally and professionally? That's what you have to ask yourself. I'm going here because I want to grow personally and professionally. Number two, who is the organizer of this event? I never, ever try to miss anything that Brooke Thomas is doing because I know her credibility. I know her integrity, her character, and people draw people. So I understand that if I'm in her space, it's going to draw a certain level of people. So, who is the organizer of the event, right? Because when you understand who the organizer is, you understand what the expectation is. So, think about that. That is very key and paramount to deciding if you should attend this event or not. Number three, speaking of people, who is going to be there? Take a look at the speaker lineup. And one of the things that I love to do before I attend an event is I like to connect to the speakers. So I'm going to go follow them on social media, take a look at some of the content that they're sharing, or I'm going to go connect with them on LinkedIn and see what they're posting and sharing on LinkedIn. These things are so paramount to understanding if you should attend a certain event and if you should be in the room. Because what are you going to learn from the speaker? There are many events I did not attend because the speaker lineup I didn't resonate with. This is not somebody I want to learn from, right? I don't like how they show up in the social space. So I'm definitely not going to attend this event. So it's looking at that and being intentional about networking before you ever get to the event. I love it as a speaker when people inbox me and say, hey, I'm attending this event. I can't wait for you to be there and to connect with you. That tells me that they have an anticipation, that they're excited, right? But they're also being intentional about creating and networking with me before I ever get there. So when I get to the event and I see their tag, I can remember, oh, you inboxed me, right? That causes them to stand out among everyone else who's trying to meet with me in real time. Also, consider a give and take, right? You being in this space is a give and take. So it's not you just looking at the speaker lineup and saying, okay, what can I receive from them? But it's also you looking at the speaker lineup and saying to yourself, what can I give as well? Because not only are you going to meet these speakers, but you're going to be at a table with other people who are like minded and ambitious just like you. And so you want to be able to say, what can I receive from this space? But also, what can I offer to the people who are at the table as well? I can't begin to tell you how many times I've gone to events and it's not just me gleaning from the speakers, but I've also gleaned from the people who I'm sitting at the table with because we are like minded, like hearted, like spirited. Okay. Number four, what's the topics or agenda? Listen, you're investing to be in this space. You're investing your time, treasure, and talent. So you have to make sure that the agenda and the topics line up with what you want. So here are a couple of questions to ask yourself, okay? What are the topics being covered? What are the topics being covered? Number two, will it add any value to my skills or knowledge? Will the topics add any value to the skills or knowledge? Or is it already something that I already know? Number three, what kind of audience will be attending? Will these be people who are scaling up their business? Are these people who are beginning entrepreneurs, but you're far from that? You have to understand who is the audience that I'll be attending. And you can learn a lot from that by reading the copy, listening to what the organizer is saying about this event, listening and reading and really digging deep into the frequently asked questions right there on the website, so you know if this is right for you. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is about doing your due diligence and your research before you ever swipe your card, before you ever hit that Eventbrite link to pay to attend the event. This is about doing your due diligence. Number five, what's the location? Let me get in your business for a minute here. Too many of us want to grow our business, but we want to grow our business. We want to grow professionally, personally, by staying in our own backyard. Visibility is power, ladies and gentlemen, and visibility is not dependent upon your area code or zip code. So you have to make the investment in yourself and skill up and be willing to go outside of your own backyard. I think your audience, your clients should see you in other locale. They should see you in other cities, states, or countries. They should see you in other places. Why? Because that paints a bigger picture that your brand is not just to the 29229. That's my zip code, or whatever your zip code is, right? It's bigger than that. And so you should make the investment of, I want to go outside of my area. I want to get on a plane. I want to make that investment. And here's why I think this is also key too. I think making that investment also speaks higher to when you have an event and you decide not to do it in your local city or even in your state, that you now can also, you've modeled to other people that you're an investor. And just as you're asking them to fly and come and see you wherever you are, you in return have already done that. It's the law of reciprocity, right? I'm a firm believer of not asking people to do something that I have not already done first. So people need to see you in another location. Sometimes what you need and what you want to grow in your business and grow in life is not going to be down the street. It's going to cost you some gas money. It's going to cost you expanding your borders. It's going to cost you thinking bigger. It's going to cost you a plane ticket, a passport. So you have to understand, okay, what is the location? Does this serve me? One of the things I think about when it comes to location of events, I think about, what audience do I already have in that city? Can I make it a 2-for-1? Can I create a meetup with some of the people that I have in that city? Can I meet a client and maybe host a VIP day so I'm getting more bang for my buck when it comes to making the investment? Will this be a beautiful environment? I love Southern California, by the way. And so I love going to Southern California because I love the air. I love being near the ocean. That's for my mental health and wellness. So think about, what's the location? That was number 5. Number 6, which I think is really important, pray. Yes, pray about the spaces that you're going into. Pray about, hey, is this something that I need to do? Because though we think about some of these things, you may need to go to a space where I just believe I need to be here and I don't even know why. I can't even begin to tell you how many times, even with events that I've had or events that I attended, that I've heard some attendees say, I didn't know who this person was that was hosting this event. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew I needed to be here, right? And I believe that's deep calling to deep. That's God, that's your creator saying that, hey, I have something on the other side waiting for you at this event. So pray about it. Ask for direction. Is this where I need to go? And let the Spirit lead you to where you need to go. So pray about it as you do the other things I suggested. And number 7, the price point. The price point, ladies and gentlemen, is so key because sometimes you have to pay to play. Let me say that again. Sometimes you have to pay to play. What does that mean? Sometimes you have to make a higher investment on what you want to receive. Sometimes getting those kind of connections and exposure to Jasmine Star that I've recently met, and Shalene Johnson and Anthony O'Neill, sometimes being in those environments is not going to be $27. And there's nothing wrong with $27 events, right? As long as you're walking through and you understand what your goal is, right? What's my life and business goal? But sometimes you have to make a higher investment in order to be in certain circles, right? I've paid as much as $1,500, $2,500 for a ticket to an event. That did not include my airfare. And I'm not telling you that to be braggy. I'm telling you that to let you know that I made those investments because of what was happening in the room and in the space. Listen, if you have an opportunity and there's a VIP ticket at an event, make the investment and take the VIP ticket. There's great to do general admission, but VIP tickets usually involve you getting a little bit closer to the organizer or having an intimate mastermind with one of the people. I'll never forget, we were a part of an event one time and we invested at a certain level and we were able to be in the room with the TD Jakes pouring into us. That's amazing. So sometimes you have to make the higher investment. And sometimes you have to look at this and say, you know what? I can afford this, but just because you can afford it, do you need to go? This is going to cost me $5,000, but I know I need to be there. So what do I need to do in order to position myself to be there because of the investment? Now, what I don't want you to hear is me saying that if something is affordable, that doesn't mean it's not worth it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to do that on the flip side with the same mindset that just because it costs higher doesn't mean you don't need to be there. Oh man, that's too much. I mean, we count ourselves out of so many things because of the price point. And the price point as a person who holds events and sells things is the price point is about really determining who is going to be in the room. Let me give you the secret here. Certain coaches price things because they want a certain kind of person in the room. And you're the kind of person who should be in the room, but you count yourself out because you say, oh, that's too high. I don't deserve that. You kidding me? You deserve being invested. You deserve investment. I'm always, always, always going to invest more in me than what's on me. And I love pretty things. Ask my husband. But I'm always going to be the person that's investing in coaching and programs and personal development and therapy and reading books. I'm always going to invest more in me than what's on me because what's in me is eternal. What's in me is life giving. What's in me is life changing. So be an investor because it's a game changer. And speaking of game changer and being an investor, I want to invite you to an experience that I'm creating for CEOs, founders, coaches, speakers, and consultants. Because for many of you, you are seeing this world talk about you need to create content. But yet on the inside, you are wondering, where do I start? How do I sustain this? And how do I use something as simple as my smartphone to create the content that's going to connect and convert to people? Well, I'm going to show you how. It's the Visibility is Power Content Creation Tour. And I'm so excited about this because, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I needed when I started. An opportunity to be in a room, community, 12 people. 12 people. So this is an intimate, immersive experience with other CEOs, founders, coaches, speakers, and consultants, just like yourself, where you're going to come into space and be able to work with me in a group setting over the course of 2 days in Houston, Texas. Why Houston, Texas? Because I need to take you out of your environment. Now, if you live in Houston, join us. But if you don't live in Houston, I want to encourage you to come to a space to get taken out of your environment so you can think creatively. So you can learn from me how to think like a producer, how to always have a strategy to create the content that your team has been begging and asking you for, to get our visibility matrix so you can understand the kind of content that you're creating and how to create content right on the spot with your smartphone. This is a game changer. And again, I would love to have you there. Visibilityispower.com. Because what I know to be true is this: creating content is not going anywhere. This is, as I heard someone say this weekend, Heather Torres said, content creation is the new language. Creating content is the new language. You've probably heard me say it a couple of times this. You ready for this? That I have said that if you are in business, if you are a CEO, founder, coach, consultant, that what you're doing with social media is not being social, friend. You are creating your own media network, and content is a way for you to manage the narrative, tell your story on your own media channel. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Those are your media channels. And we're going to show you how to create this short form video content so that way you can finally show up in front of the people who want you to make impact, influence, and income. I want to see you in Houston. You deserve to be here. And as someone said, make it a work conference so it can be a tax write-off as a part of your business. Again, check it out. Visibilityispower.com. Listen, we only have 12 spaces. We're doing this very intentionally and making this a very intimate and immersive experience. So that way, listen, you come back finally with a strategy and that you can go and do this. Wash, rinse, repeat. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of my community and a part of my circle. I'm forever cheering you on. Why? Because you deserve to be seen, heard, and paid. Your visibility is power. It's time to step into it. Bye.